Okay, thank you, Chief. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order tonight. Tonight is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, 7:02 p.m. I'll go ahead and request a roll call. So Ward 1? Here. Ward 2?
Here, present.
Ward 3?
Present.
Ward 4? Here. Great, thank you. All right, I'll ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll ask Greg to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Our town
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So for tonight's agenda, we have, under presentations, we have Carl Schuttler, the Transportation Supervisor for Prince George's Public Schools. Our Town Administrator, Greg Holcomb, will do a presentation on updates and upcoming projects. We have, as a third bullet point on the agenda, appointing Melinda Mendoza to the Audit Committee, but we'll actually move that to new business under 10B. For the consent agenda, approval of minutes, there are currently none. Department operations reports, the town administrator and public works have submitted their reports. We have the treasurer's report for December 2024, and then we have the public safety / code compliance report in there as well. If any of the council has any questions on any pieces of that, when it comes to the consent agenda, I'll ask you and you'll just go ahead and ask for more clarity on any of those pieces. We'll continue on to the mayor's report, council member reports and concerns. We'll open it up for resident comments. And just as a reminder, residents may provide comments after discussion and before vote for 1 minute. And that would go under anything that we discuss or vote on for unfinished business and new business. Under unfinished business, we have the approval of the FY 2024 audit. For new business, we have a resolution for a budget transfer, and then we'll adjourn. I'd like to go ahead and request a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Councilmember Fia Emirates, I'll make that motion as stated.
Is there a second?
Fanny Wilkins, second.
I'll go ahead and ask for discussion on any points to be made. If there are none, I'll request that we all vote on whether we're approving the agenda for this evening. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you. All right, so on the Zoom call, we currently have Mr. Schuttler, the Transportation Supervisor for Prince George's Public Schools. He was invited by our council member, Allison Pages, so thank you, Allison, for inviting him. I'll go ahead and request that you unmute, Mr. Schuttler. It's very nice to meet you, and thank you for coming to our meeting this evening.
All right, good evening, and thank you all for having me this evening. I appreciate it. My name is Carl Schuttler. I am the transportation supervisor for the Greenbelt bus lot and the Douglas bus lot. Greenbelt bus lot is in Greenbelt, and the Douglas bus lot is in the Upper Marlboro area. If you like, I can talk, or if you guys wanted to jump to any questions. I do have 2 questions that I did receive in advance, and I'd like to just talk a little bit about transportation, if possible, and then we can get into it. So last year we did.
Mr. Schuttler, sorry, yep. If you could just hold one quick second, we're dealing with some audio issues at our town hall. So just one moment.
Can you hear me okay, though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Just 1 second.
Yep, let me know.
Mr. Shetler, can you say something to see if we can hear you?
Yep. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
That works.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. So, and just one more thing.
So now I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I think we
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay. And then Chief, I think the interpreter is asking for the Spanish channel on Zoom.
Okay. I need to do with that? Or should I just talk slower?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Shetler.
Should I just talk slower since there's a Spanish interpreter as well?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for having me here tonight. My name's Carl Shuttler. I'm the transportation supervisor for the Greenbelt bus lot located in Greenbelt, Maryland, and the Douglas bus lot located in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I have around 18,000 students that ride my buses for both bus lots combined. And so I'm here tonight to talk about transportation, our challenges that we're having, and what we're hoping to do about it. So PGC, first of all, for those who may not have heard, we are on our 2-hour delay tomorrow due to the frigid and cold temperatures. So for those that didn't know, we are on a 2-hour delay schedule tomorrow due to the temperatures. We had an audit conducted on PGCPS transportation when Superintendent House initially joined us. And so they looked at several things, and that was by an outside source, a third party, if you will. They looked at the school start times and end times, looking at those that were in the bus zone, looking at what can be improved and be better with the app, and also bus stop locations. So what we did was we ended up moving as a result of the audit. They increased the average distance to the bus stop. So one of the key suggestions was to increase the average distance between bus stops from 0.24 miles, which is just about a quarter of a mile, to 0.5 miles. And so this change aimed to reduce the number of bus stops, to consolidate them, to achieve several goals. Some of those goals include increasing vehicle utilization, shortening ride times, maximizing staff efficiency, in making fewer times for the bus to stop in the neighborhoods. Like I said previously, it was 0.24 miles, and so we're shooting for a goal of 0.5 miles. While we're not there yet, we're still looking to work on that for next school year as well. And so I did receive a few 2 questions prior to the meeting, and so I thank you for that. I believe it was by Ward Member 2. So thank you, and I'm going to read the first one. The children of our residents have been waiting at their bus stops for buses that show up extremely late or not at all. So that is possible. We are dealing with, so first of all, I apologize for the inconvenience and the issues that those have been experiencing with the delays. We're making daily adjustments to all of our bus routes to ensure every student gets to school. The driver shortage clearly presents some logistical challenges for us, but please know we're doing the best we can with the resources that we have. So countywide, we have approximately 200 school bus drivers, a shortage of 200 school bus drivers. So in the schools, for example, let's say, I don't know, there's a 3rd grade math teacher that calls out sick or can't come in tomorrow. And what the school will typically do is to call somebody in the neighborhood and to come in to cover that class, take attendance, maybe hand out a worksheet, what have you. But that class would be covered. So when a school bus driver comes out, we don't have that luxury. We don't have substitute drivers. So for example, at my Greenbelt bus lot, I have approximately 22 open bus routes. So to start every day, we already need 22 bus drivers at that bus lot. And so you can count on easily, really just like any other job, a 10 to 15% call out ratio. So let's just say it's on the low side of that it's 10%. So that means another around 8 to 10 people aren't going to be at work. So on top of the 22, another 10 open runs. So that's 32 open runs that need to be covered that day. And so how are those 32 runs covered? They're covered by those who come to work. So we don't have a substitute that we can call to come in and to cover those extra runs. If that was the case, we probably wouldn't have any open runs. However, that would put us up to 32 open runs, and therefore those that come to work have to help cover all of the runs to get the students to school. The second question was when the buses are late, or the second point was when the buses are late, the parents have the considerable difficulty calling this in to the necessary people. The school says they are not responsible. The best phone number that she has is 301-952-6570. Even then, the phone just keeps ringing with no response. And so she's asking for the best contact information or address the issue of no response. So what happens is that is the correct phone number. So the correct phone number is 301-952-6570. And when you call that number, what that does is it rings to our primary location, our transportation office. And so we have what we call a phone bank, which is basically a call center, right? And then there are people in there that answer the calls, and they look up and they GPS the buses, or sometimes they call the bus lot to see what's going on. Now, if there are any issues where it just keeps ringing and ringing, please document that. Please bring that. You can bring that to my attention, to others' attention. But I'm happy if you bring it to me and say, hey, I called on January 21st at 7:14 p.m. I called from this phone number and I was hung up on, or it took forever for them to answer. And what I'll do, I don't oversee the phone bank, but I can pass that along to the people that do, and they can certainly look into it because they should be answering the phone. And the call has gone down. So in August and September, I believe in the first week of school, for the first day specifically, I think we received close to 8,000 to 10,000 calls that one day, which is always the highest. The first week is always highest. By now, in January, mid to late January, that's not the case anymore. So you should not be having those issues as noted here, but that is the best phone number to call. And if you have any issues, please let me know. We are making daily adjustments to our bus routes, to, like I said, to ensure every student gets to school. The driver shortage is a logistical issue for us. If you know anybody that is looking for a job, we are hiring school bus drivers, and we pay almost $22 an hour, and we do help folks get their CDL. So if you guys have any other further questions, I'm happy to answer, or if others have some comments or concerns.
May I ask a question? All right, so since that number is not always working and does not always answer, do you have any kind of app that tracks the buses? Because in this inclement weather, if you're standing out there for over an hour, what is a good way to know if the bus is not coming at all? And so they don't stand out there for multiple hours. Is there an app? And also my second part to this question is, you said if no one answers, to let you know, can we share your contact information and your phone number?
Yes, sure, that's fine. I would do the email address, but then at that point, I would also need to know the bus route, because I have a specific amount of bus routes that I'm responsible for. And so I would just want to make sure that it gets to the appropriate supervisor as well for any issues with specific bus routes.
It would be Colmar Manor. Is that what bus route is? Colmar Manor?
So just one second. So the issues that we're having are with the bus routes going to Ellen Ochoa and to Gladys Noon. So those are the ones that are frequently late. either picking students up and dropping them off. In regards to the app, there's an app for those of us who have kids enrolled in PGCPS. It's called Stop Finder. And so Stop Finder. So with Stop Finder, the issue that we have is that sometimes it doesn't work. For the most part, about 80% of the time it works. My question would be, just going back to what Council Member Pages is asking is, for instance, in our town, we use WhatsApp to communicate with town residents. And I'm wondering if there is like some type of an alternate application or technology that we can use to communicate, or that you can communicate with us, or the bus driver can communicate with us, as opposed to bus Stop Finder that'll tell us either we're running very late, or I don't know, the Stop Finder app isn't working, or we're having issues because someone called out. And maybe it doesn't go to everyone. Maybe it just goes to a couple of us on the council, or to, I don't know, to the police or something.
All right, so I caught Ochoa is the first school, but I didn't catch the second school. What was that?
Gladys Nun.
Thank you. All right, those are, I have some buses going to Ellen Ochoa, but I don't think I have any at Gladys. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I'm here tonight. So let's talk about the Stop Finder, right? And so the Stop Finder app works in, Stop Finder and then the complaints. Okay, so Stop Finder, for example, what happens is when more than one driver is helping to cover a bus route, 456 is my bus route, so let's just say route 456, for example, and let's say it goes to Ellen Ochoa. We cannot enter 2 4-digit bus numbers on more than one route who are helping to cover route 456. So in this example, let's say the driver of 457 takes some of the 456, and then let's also say the driver of route 458 helps out with some of that 456 as well, which happens a lot of times, especially on Mondays and Fridays. For whatever reason, those are the higher days where we see call outs. But anyway, so the drivers of 457 and 458 will both, you know, the 457, let's say, will pick up the first half, and then 458 will pick up the second half. So we can't put in just one 4-digit bus number there. And so we don't put in any 4-digit bus number at all. In the event where the bus route 456 is being covered by just route 457, we will put in that 4-digit bus number on there. And so I'm bringing up, so let me bring up a screen. So hopefully I'm going to put my phone here and you'll be able to see it, because I have the Stop Finder app on my phone. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. So I'm not sure how much you can see, but right here is where the 4-digit bus number is. And so that's what you're looking for. That's what it's going to go by more so than the bus route. So if that, so for example, 9046 is the one that's shown here for the morning. And so if you see that 4-digit bus number there, that means that's the bus that it is tracking. And if there's nothing there, then that means there's more than one bus that is helping to cover with that run. I'd like to stop and take any additional comments or questions on Stop Finder. Then I'd like to talk about the complaints that you were mentioning.
So I want to open it up to the residents that are online. So I'll go ahead and ask any resident that's on Zoom to raise your hand and unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Bueno, ¿le puedo hablar?
Sí, siga.
Ok, el Stop Finder de la ruta 334 desde un principio no funciona. Así que a mi modo de ver, Stop Finder es como por decirlo, pues que no trabajan. O sea, es mentira que Stop Finder funciona porque en realidad no funciona. Y con respecto a los buses tarde, pues sí, dijeron que iba a ser un año diferente, pero en realidad fuimos para atrás con el año. Nada que ver con lo que mencionaron el año pasado. Por ejemplo, mi hijo, de él en Ochoa, es en la ruta 334. En la tarde, esa ruta viene casi a las 5 de la tarde, cuando están dispuestos a venir a las 3:47. Es demasiado tarde y hasta la fecha no han arreglado eso.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and translate. Pero primero, antes de nada, Jackie, Starfinder sí funciona. Lo que él explicó es que cuando gente, los que manejan el bus, cuando ellos están ausentes,
No, no, porque el del 334 es el mismo señor y desde un principio dice que no está en servicio, así que no funciona y es el mismo señor de la ruta.
sí. So, déjeme terminar.
Ujú.
So, Starfinder, la aplicación, trabaja porque yo lo uso. Pero lo que yo le voy a comentar al señor es que la ruta de 334 no está funcionando.
No, nunca funcionó.
Espere un momento, le voy a decir al señor, ¿ok?
Ujú.
So, Mr. Shubler, I have a parent here that has a child that goes to Elena Ochoa, and she's saying that Route 334 on Stop Finder does not work. She's also saying that the bus frequently drops kids off back in town at 5 in the afternoon when she says they should be getting back to town around 3:45.
47.
So I don't know if you want to comment on any of that, Mr. Schuttler.
Okay, yeah. What was the last part she said? Or maybe it sounded like later, I think.
She was saying that the bus drops kids off around 5. She said even at one time at 7.
Okay. All right. We'll certainly do apologize for that. So bus route 334, and I'm going to take notes and take it back to the appropriate supervisor. That's not my bus route, but I can answer the question regarding that. So I will speak. So every single day, we have one person assigned at each bus lot to enter the 4-digit bus number of each bus route. So whatever bus is doing route 334, there's somebody at the bus lot there that is supposed to be entering that into the app every day, every morning and every afternoon. So I will make sure I speak to the supervisor to get that corrected. Now, the only problem where you won't see that is what I mentioned.
Una cosa, en las mañanas sí llega a tiempo, en la tarde es que los niños llegan demasiado tarde.
Jackie, deje que él termine lo que está diciendo y después le voy a pedir que usted hable, pero deje que él termine, ¿ok? Okay, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Schuttler, continue.
Okay. I mean, you could even mention what she said. I don't have any issues. I understand the frustration, and I do apologize about it. Route 334. So if you have more than one bus that's covering Route 334, then you're not going to see that 4-digit bus number there. And so what happens is it's the domino effect. So where the bus lot Route 334 is out of, I'd have to check, but I don't know offhand how many open routes they have. I just know from mine. But what happens is you try to get coverage for all of the schools, and naturally it's the domino effect. So if one starts to go late, then the next one's going to get late, and it just gets later and later. And so that can lead to some issues, but of getting back home later in the afternoon. But I'm taking notes of the issues, and I've certainly written down Route 334, Stop Finder doesn't work, and getting home late. So I will, talk to the supervisor who's responsible for that bus route to see what we can do to try to get that fixed.
Thank you. So I'm just going to read 2 comments that are on the Zoom right now. So Mirna Gonzalez says, what option is there for this situation to get better in regards to the buses? And Sandra Ramirez asks, the Stop Finder app has never worked for me on the 334 route for my son's transportation. Jackie, ¿quería añadir algo o hacer otra pregunta?
Ok, lo que estaba diciendo yo que en la mañana, el señor que viene en la mañana, sí es muy puntual. pero en la tarde es otro el que los trae, ese es el que viene tarde, para que le quede claro bien al señor.
Okay, lo voy a traducir. So basically what she's saying is, what I want to clarify is that the bus driver for Route 334 in the mornings is usually very punctual. But there's a different driver that drops the kids off in the afternoon and he comes very, very late.
So the primary issue with 334 is the PM more so than the AM.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case. ¿Hay otra persona que quiere hacer una pregunta o dar un comentario? Se puede poner en el micrófono o ponerlo en el chat.
So additionally, I will speak to the supervisor of bus route. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. The supervisor of bus route 334 is Mrs. Brenda Stewart Adams. So she's in the cubicle next to me. So I'll speak to her about that and make sure that we're updating it. So, in addition, the communication part is the other thing I wanted to talk about. So what happens is when any buses are running late, every bus lot, like I said, has one person that's assigned to enter the updated 4-digit bus number for the morning and enter the 4-digit bus number for the afternoon. Additionally, the person is to message, for example, bus route 334 is running 35 minutes late in the morning or the afternoon, either way. And they're supposed to put that in the chat. And what that does, our internal chat within transportation. And then what that does, that goes to our communication team. And then the communication team is supposed to send out that word through email or text, or perhaps through the Stop Finder app. And so you should be receiving that communication when the buses are running late. And so I'm marking that note down now, not getting notices when the buses are running late. So I will make sure I pass that along as well.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the council? I'd also just ask, and I'll offer up our town. Our town, I'm not sure if other towns do this, but we do try to communicate as much information as we can, both in English and in Spanish, to our town residents. So if it works to maybe create like a pilot and create a pilot WhatsApp for the routes that service our town, and maybe with our police department or with our office admin or with the mayor and council or even a committee of parents here, I think that might be something worth looking into. So I'll just go ahead and throw it out there, but I'll also email you this. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to us.
Yes, no, and I appreciate you having me. I will say I will take the WhatsApp suggestion back. The reality of that, I'm not too sure of, because we're trying to refine the current ways that we communicate, but certainly that can be an alternative that we explore. And I'll take that back. But I know right now our communication team is trying to get their method down packed and out. And then the bus lots need to make sure that we're communicating that out to the communication team to get that out to the parents in the schools, so we can, have at least notifications that the buses are running late, whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon. And I did go ahead and put in the chat, as you can hopefully maybe see on my background thing where it says drive with us. Again, we are looking for school bus drivers. So please, if you know anybody that's looking for a job, hey, we can put you on that Route 334. We can put you on, if it's a different route, if it's Route 340, where your student's on, hey, we'll put you on that bus route and assign you to that, or whatever bus route. We need help. We need more school bus drivers, that's for sure. And so if you can certainly help us get the word out, perhaps put a link on your town website, or what have you. Any assistance would be greatly appreciated.
So I have a question actually. Is it possible to know what routes come into Colmar Manor? I don't know if I have a list of that. And I think that we could amplify that within the town so people are aware and we can post it in our on our website. So
I-
like you're the supervisor of what lines? Because I know you said Miss Adams is a supervisor for 334. So I'm wondering if we have different supervisors for the town.
That could be, right? So my bus routes are 001 through 120 and all of the X buses. That's for my Upper Marlboro lot. I also supervise the Greenbelt bus lot, which is bus route 456 through 540, 540, and all of the G buses. Mrs. Stewart Adams supervises bus route 306 through bus route 370, 370, and the B buses. B is in boy. So we have 6 supervisors. Each of us have 2 bus lots apiece. You might also have bus route 121 through 240, 240, or the R buses. And that would be Mrs. Tuck, Tuck. Most likely it'll be Miss Stewart Adams' bus, my bus, or Mrs. Tuck's bus.
Could you please repeat that?
We'll follow up. So actually, what I'll do, Mr. Shelter, thank you for this information because I think like this is an exercise in getting educated, and we should have done this at the beginning of the school year. But I really appreciate getting all this information. We're gonna follow up with you because I'm interested. I'm interested in knowing what bus routes are coming into Colmar Manor, and I'd love to get the contact information for the supervisors. I took some notes, but I'll just follow up with you, or actually, our town administrator or someone from our office will follow up with you. There are some residents. Myrna in town says, "Thank you for being here tonight and listening to our issues." And
Mónica,
issue
perdón que interrumpa, no le puedo hacer la última pregunta.
the transportation in regards to we hope to resolve the issue in regards to getting the kids to our town sooner. And just bear with me for 1 second. I had a resident that was trying to say something. Jackie, ¿qué es lo que estabas diciendo?
Sí, sí, Mónica, yo le quería preguntar que qué tan factible sería que este año les cambiaron el número de parada a los niños. Antes era en la 43 de la Newark, ahora están en la 42. ¿Por qué no regresar a la 43 de la Newark? No sé si es posible hacerlo de nuevo el próximo año.
So the question was that we had an additional stop in town, but that was removed. And so the question is if it can be added again, maybe perhaps for the next school year.
So the short answer is we will look at it. Again, I want to reiterate that there was an audit conducted by a third party. Last school year, an audit was done on transportation. And so one key suggestion was to increase the average distance between bus stops from 0.24 miles, which is about a quarter of a mile, to 0.5 miles, to the average. And so this change aimed to reduce the number of bus stops. What the audit found is we had way too many bus stops. The bus was stopping every 2 or 3 blocks, which was very redundant. It was too much. It was stopping way too much. So we needed to have the students walk a little bit further to their bus stop to help increase the vehicle utilization, to shorten the ride times, because every 2 blocks the bus is stopping, stop, versus now it's maybe every 5 to 6 blocks. And so this maximizes more efficiency, and allows the buses to, go further a little bit longer. And so sometimes students will need to walk to a little bit further to their bus stop. So I don't see us going back to the way it was. Um, in fact, even for the specialty schools, such as, for example, I don't know, Academy of Health Science for high school, some of those students walk easily a half mile when they're in high school, to get to their buses, because sometimes, you have different students coming from different areas. So we're doing our best to try to work within the audit and to fix some things that they've discovered as a result of the audit. So will the bus stops be added back? Probably not.
Finally, before we let you go, I just have two more comments or questions. Is there bilingual staff at this call line? That's one question.
Yeah.
And then the second is, how can we advocate for you if it's needed? So a committee of parents here in town is going to be attending some of the budget meetings that the PGCPS or the Board of Education Board is going to be having. And I want to make sure that if there's something that we can advocate for, especially when it comes to buses, that we go ahead and make it clear that this is something that we need. So that's the second question. And then the third question, I was going to ask how we can assist you guys, and it sounds like you need help with recruitment. So I'll also follow up, or ask someone here to follow up in asking you all to maybe send someone out here in person to maybe recruit some drivers from our town or our neighboring towns. I think that's something that might be a good thing if we're able to get people that are looking for work.
So thank you, much appreciated. Advocating on behalf of transportation is needed. And I know the superintendent is well aware of our challenges, and he's a partner with us. So he's certainly doing everything he can on his side to assist us. At the end of the day, it's simply a manpower issue or lack thereof. And so on the link that I shared, the Drive With Us link, so we have job fairs every 2 weeks. And you can click on the website on the link that I provided and see everything what you need to be. You need to be at least 21 years old, 5 years of driving. And we will help train to get the CDL. So, but we could certainly look to work with you to try to have a job fair or something like that at your location. Our HR team is the one that sets that up. Recently, we had a job fair last week at Skyline Administration Building in Suitland that was well attended. The thing is, we got to get those people across the finish line and help. Then we can't force people to go out and get their driving record and to get a physical and certain things like that. So we certainly appreciate that. And like I said, we'll be in touch, and I'll make sure that you do have the list of the bus routes or the responsible supervisors and all of their bus routes. I can certainly email that to you.
And then the question about bilingual people on the phone line.
Yes, we do. So you can just ask for an interpreter, or once you're speaking Spanish, say, hey, I need habla español. Yo hablo poquito español, so I would find somebody that could speak Spanish more fluently than me, for sure. So yes, and if we don't, please, they can tell me or notify you, and then you can let me know or whomever, and I'd certainly be glad to assist.
Okay, so I think that's it, unless there are any other questions. Again, thank you so much. We'll be following up with you. Y gracias a todos que están en la línea, que hicieron preguntas. Vamos a seguir trabajando para ver cómo se puede mejorar la situación. Y como dije, Vamos a abogar para más dinero para ayudar con el sistema de transportación. Eso es una cosa que podemos abogar y poner en la carta que sobre la cual hablamos hace unos días. Pero gracias. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Schiller. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, you too. And on the line, we have Delegate Fennell. I'm so sorry to have made you wait, Delegate Fennell, but the bus issue is something that people had been wanting to talk about, but I'll go ahead and now turn the floor over to you.
Okay, good evening. This is not evening. Hello, I'm sorry. I was muted. This is Gloria Monica. I just wanted to say good evening, everyone. And I wanted to make an announcement about District 47 Night Out. It will be on February 3rd, and hopefully we will be able to get buses to bring some of you guys out to Annapolis to show you guys what we do. And it's from, I'm gonna say it's from 5:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to about 8 o'clock at night. If anyone is interested, they have to apply, call Senator Augustine's, he left a number to call and you can sign up to go. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. If there's any questions, please.
We'll definitely promote it, and thank you so much for hopping on to make us aware. And yes, we'll make sure to put it in on the electronic billboard in town. We'll send out a message. We'll send out an email, and we'll put it on Facebook and put it on our website. So we'll definitely amplify the message. Thank you so much, Gloria. Okay. Next up on the agenda under presentations is Mr. Holcomb, the town administrator. So I'll turn the floor over to him.
Thank you. I wanted to put together an update. We have a lot of projects that are going on in town, and that's supposed to sound like that. Sorry, is that you? Oh yeah, so we have a lot of projects going on in town. I just wanted to provide kind of a quick update of where we are at on some of these, and I thought the residents would like to know as well. And so I'll try to make this real quick, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But I plan on doing this every maybe couple months just to keep you all updated and to keep the public updated on some of the bigger projects, because there will be a lot this year. So all the projects I'm discussing in this presentation are all funded by grants. So there are no tax dollars coming out of town revenue that are paying for these. In the next year, there's about $943,500 in project spending in the next calendar year. So there is a lot of work that is going to happen. The first project that we have is street paving. This is community development block grant funding. It's about $222,000. It was received and accepted by the council, and we're at a point now where we're preparing to issue an RFP for the paving to happen come the spring. What's wrong? Copied it from this one. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why it's not in there. I made a copy of mine. What the heck? Well, I apologize for that. Well, I read it, so it's there. It's on this. It's on the slide. Yeah. The next is the update on the Green Street. So as you know, this is the long project going on Newark. We've had sections of road done at 40th and Newark. We're now getting ready. The 43rd Avenue and Newark Road intersection has been designed and permitted. We have funding was obtained already to do the construction at that site, and that was received last year. The 41st Avenue and Newark Road design is completed, and we're at the final stages of permitting for that. The phase 3, which is the remaining phase, it should be the ending phase of the design work, is for bioswales and other environmental aspects of the roadway that we can do. That feasibility study that you all approved was just completed. And so what's next is the engineer that just completed the feasibility study is going to be meeting with the mayor and myself to discuss their next steps for actually designing those bioswales and other stormwater management features. We'll be applying for a grant that's available right now through the Chesapeake Bay Trust to do the construction of 41st and Newark for that intersection. And those are the next two steps, and then we're just awaiting the bids from the contractor for 43rd and Newark, and I hope to have that to you by the February work session. Next is Laracy Park. Not a lot of movement there right now. The property has been surveyed. That work is completed. The electricity is still being installed at the site. I'm not sure what the delay is yet. I'm still trying to contact the electrician about what's happening there. And then the grant paperwork was filed with the state to receive our $500,000. And so the next step is we're awaiting the funds from the state, but it's also for the engineer now to create a phased approach for the construction and to give us cost estimates on those so that we can schedule out the expense of that $500,000 and see if there's any other funding that's needed for that. The Doing Grounds improvement, I'm calling it, is kind of a multi-grant project. We've had a couple grants awarded. This is generally speaking the area from Bladensburg Road to about the gazebo on what is 38th Street and 37th at the intersections of Newark, Newton, and the entrance to the Colmar Manor Community Park. And so the grants was awarded to create a street mural, to do landscaping, and to provide lighting at the intersection near the Doing Ground. The Neighborhood Design Center, as part of one of the grants, we actually received technical support through that grant. And so the Neighborhood Design Center is actually the agency that's working with us for technical support, and they're going to be providing us with lighting concepts for the Doing Ground and for that street to help improve the lighting in the area. And then we just closed out our qualifications, request for qualifications from artists. We had 22 applications. We've had applicants that are local, some from out of state, some that have done international work. I don't envy you all because you're going to look at these in the February meeting and decide on who that individual or group is going to be. So the next steps are for the council to choose an artist. To get the lighting concepts are going to come in about March, and then soliciting quotations for the landscaping work. The next project is the town signage project. This was a grant that was received to create and install new street signs. A committee of residents have met several times and discussed the design, the color, and other aspects of the new street signs. The next steps, we had to wait. I had to get quotations from different contractors to find out what the costs of actually installing are, because it may limit what we can do with the design of the signs. And so right now we're getting quotes from companies that can do the installation to determine what signs we can actually get. And then the committee will be meeting to recommend a sign design soon, hopefully. And then just kind of as a reminder, these aren't necessarily projects in the sense of construction, but on this last page here are upcoming discussions. As a reminder for you all, we're going to have, and for the public, we're going to be having discussions of the amendments that you all discussed for the parking ordinance. We'll have those for you at the February work session. The property maintenance that we've discussed, the town attorney has to put that together, so I'm expecting that to be at the March work session. The amendment of the audit and check signing committees that we discussed, I'll have for you at the February work session. The right-of-way permission authority, which was the ordinance that we had discussed about curb cuts and things that happen in the right-of-way and giving permission to town staff so the council doesn't have to look at that. That would be in February. So those are forthcoming. Those are just a few of the things that we're working on, but I think they're kind of some of the big ones, and just a kind of a reminder for you all of where we're at and for the public to know what's coming up in the near future. So do you have any questions on those? Good. Okay, we can move on.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Holcomb, for that overview and for all of the work you and the office staff are doing to push these projects along. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. So I'll give council a couple minutes now to see if there's anything that they wanted to kind of bring up or review from this, if they had any questions. So I'll give you just like a minute or so to take a look.
Okay, so Mayor, I do want to say something, and we've been talking about this for a long time, but we haven't get to anything yet. But the parking in 43rd by the church is getting worse and worse and worse every Sunday.
So we're talking about this first.
Sorry.
So you can bring that up during your report? Yeah? Okay. So is there anything on the consent agenda that people want to bring up and discuss? Yeah, everything that's in this packet.
Yes, I do have just a few questions here. I just want a reminder for people not to leave valuables in their cars and to keep them locked. I see that we've had, that's gone down a little bit, but the theft from auto was only one. So we're doing much, much better, but still, just remember. Also, if people are feeling depressed, they should reach out for help. We've had an increase in that. So that would be, just reach out for help. And I think that's about, oh yes, and please be aware of your surroundings when you go to ATMs. We had that incident, but it was just one. But when you're going to withdraw money, always be aware.
Are there any questions on what's in this packet? Any questions on any of the data from the reports, from the treasurer, from the police? Any questions or anything you want to pull out? Okay, so I'll go ahead and request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I'll make that motion stated.
Councilmember Fia Emmerich, I'll second that motion.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? Okay, if there are none, I'll go ahead and request a vote to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Next up on the agenda is the mayor's report. Just give me a second to pull that up. Okay, so for my report out, I attended the MML legislative opening along with Councilmember Mendoza. It was great to hear about the priorities and to meet with other legislators and other elected officials. It was nice to see the governor there as well. We were invited to attend a budget briefing from the governor in regards to what we can expect to see for this year or for this budget year. I'll share that in an email and I'll also post it up on my Facebook and I'll ask Greg to post it up on our website. In regards to administrative updates, we will be having a council retreat. I believe we said February 2nd? 1st. Okay, thank you. February 1st, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. I think I said till 12 noon. It's just some time for the council to take a look at the work that we've been doing for the past 6 months, to review any processes, to review any norms that we have in the way that we meet and conduct ourselves at these meetings, and just to brush up on any rules and other things that we may have questions about. In regards to initiatives and projects, thank you to Ilhan in the office. We've been meeting with MedStar and also the, oh God, I forgot what the name of the foundation is. I forgot. There's a foundation that that I know and that is working to identify diabetes in the community and to help connect people to resources and to insurance and to doctors. And I have pitched to them and to the Ethiopian church in town, the Medhain, to have something called Dinner with a Doctor. So this is having a monthly series or maybe every other month where we invite people to come and have a light dinner and be able to sit at a table with a doctor and just ask some general questions about health issues. And really, this is just to establish trust, but also to start educating ourselves on how to improve our healths and to get connected to the people that we need to in order to live good quality lives for ourselves and our families and our children. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully that'll be starting up soon. I might request from the council some money to fund this. I'm thinking between $1,500 to $2,000 to fund this pilot program. We have an animal welfare committee. I'm super excited. We had our second meeting and we will be having an event in February. So actually I'll change my slide. I'll send over the minutes to our town administrator. We are looking, the purpose of the Animal Welfare Committee is to address issues in town in regards to pets, to cats, any animal issues, but also to educate residents on how to be good pet parents and how to care for their animals, and then also connect them to resources that are either free or low cost in regards to vaccinations and spay neutering. We'll be hosting an event on the 22nd, I believe, of February, where we're going to invite everyone to bring their pets for a play date. We might host this in the gym downstairs. We will be inviting speakers to come and maybe give a little bit of a talk to discuss how to be a good parent or how to deal with your animals. We'll be inviting businesses that people that pet sit, maybe some doggy daycare centers so that we can meet them and again be connected to them. And really it's just again another opportunity for residents to get to know each other and have a play date with your furry child. In February, we'll also be celebrating Black History Month. So I will be hosting a meeting this Thursday at 6:30 here for anyone that's interested in helping plan Black History Month. We'll start planning it now, and I have to let Amelia know too because I need her help. And then in March, we're looking at having an event for International Women's Day. In regards to some concerns that I've heard, I spoke to a couple of residents in Ward 4 that were talking to me about the parking issue, especially behind the Eritrean church. What I will ask that the council do and that residents do. Frequently, I've been asked to call police or tell police to go to be somewhere. I'm going to repeat this again. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask people to call the non-emergency line for non-emergency issues so that this gets logged and tracked. So there's data that shows that this is an issue. If it is an emergency, you call 911. When you call me and tell me to send police over, you're delaying the whole situation. So I'm asking people and I'm asking the council, when residents come up to you with this, tell them to call the non-emergency line, report it, take photos, log everything that's happening. When you call me after the fact or you send me a message, it doesn't do anything. We have to gather proof, gather information. We have to make sure that everything is logged. Okay. We'll be having more discussions about this at our retreat. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before that, a couple of people demanding that I send police over. I don't like that. I don't think that that's the right thing to do personally. I think that there is an order, there's a chain of command, and I respect the chain of command and I respect Chief to do his job. I'd like to also give a huge thank you to our Public Works, to Al, to Aiden, and to Eduardo for the shoveling and plowing that they did. There's more on that, I think, I don't know, in the report. They are a new-ish Public Works team that was able to plow an entire town with faulty equipment. So we have lots of issues. We have equipment that isn't working to 100%, satisfaction for them, for Public Works. We don't have storage for our equipment, so it lays out in the element and it starts to wear on metal or whatever it is, and we end up having to fix or invest more money in something that we purchased. And these are some real issues. So as a council, I'm asking you to take a look at that and consider allocating money towards improving those issues. I believe that we can do better, and I feel that Public Works, if we give them the proper tools, are going to be even better than they are now. I need to get a request from Public Works. They need to tell me what their wish list is so that they can present that to you and we can have discussions about it when we start talking about the budget. But I think that's super, super important. I also want to give some gratitude and thank you to our town administrator, Greg Holcomb, and to WSSC Water. The water main break that we had in town, I called Greg. Greg came over right away. WSSC showed up maybe like a couple of hours after it was reported, and they fixed the situation the next day. I mean, it was done. It was fixed the next day. I also want to thank. Stay muted. I want to thank Denise Hamler from the town of Cottage City. The only reason I knew about the water main break was because Denise emailed us a video of the water main break. And she also alerted the town of Cottage City. So I want to thank Cottage City too for putting all those posts on Facebook that I saw and we shared on my page. So just thank you to everyone that was involved with that. And then this is also, again, a reminder to residents and to the council. We need to start talking about the budget now. So in February, we're going to have a town hall that's going to be dedicated to the budget. If you have questions, if you have requests, if you want to see more money allocated to a particular project or initiative, we need to let us know. So you can do it via email, you can do it by calling, you can write an anonymous letter. We're going to be sending out a survey. We did this last year, but this is to say that if you want to see more things happen or a focus on certain things, we need to hear from the residents, we need to hear from council in regards to that. And frankly, we do have a lot of events. That's one thing that Greg always complains to me about, is that we have too many events. So I'm seriously considering cutting down on the events because we don't get a lot of participation lately from people coming out to these events. So if I don't see people coming out, I just think they're not interested and they don't want to show up. And I mean, the same thing, we invested a lot of money in English classes and only a handful of people showed up. And this is a request that people were giving me, but then no one ended up showing up. So to me, that signifies that it's not a priority, but prove me wrong and let us know what you'd like us to focus on. Here are some pictures from some of the events and things that we've done throughout town. So I want to thank the Brentwood Volunteer Fire Department and Mr. Brodas, and the Santa that came on a really, really cold night. They drove around town with their fire truck and with the Santa, and we were able to say hello to a lot of happy kids and adults. And we threw lots of candy canes at them. So thank you. Thank you to Public Works. Thank you to Amelia. It was a lot of fun. And thank you to, that's in another picture. No, this is a different Santa. We had a couple of Santas. So this is the Christmas event that we had. And at this event, we had the American Legion participate. We had a Santa from the American Legion and an elf. And we were able to give out lots of toys to the kids, to the town kids. And I just want to say thank you to the town staff, the office staff, and to Greg for going out and buying all these toys and presents for the kids. They really loved it. So just thank you for making sure any kid that wanted a toy in town received a toy. And thank you to all the parents that helped the kids write these letters to Santa and for putting those letters in the mailbox that we had in our town foyer at the town hall. These are some more pictures of the kids and their toys. Whoops. Yeah. And obviously, thank you, Fanny, and everyone that volunteered that day. I mean, these kids they want their toys, so we need to have some order. I wanted to say thank you to Mirna. She's the owner of Taco Rico in Edmonston. She hosted a fundraiser here for a baking class that we're having through this nonprofit called El Poder de Ser Mujer, the power of being a woman. And I think they started meeting here, but they had to cancel one of their classes because our oven isn't working. So that's just another little nudge to the council that we need to update a lot of our kitchen equipment because it keeps on breaking down. And we need to get new kitchen equipment and a new oven. New stove and a new oven. But thank you to Mirna. It was a beautiful event. And all the people that came to her party donated money towards us having this program. This is the second time that she did it. I want to thank everyone that helped for the New Year's Eve party that we hosted in town. It was really, really cool. The purpose of us having this New Year's Eve party is to address something that Councilmember Page has brought up, which is we don't want anyone to be alone. We don't want anyone to feel lonely. And so we create these events and we have this space to bring our community together in a safe way. So you don't have to travel really far out to celebrate New Year's when you can do it here in your town and you can walk home. Weather permitting, obviously. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you to DJ Sunny. Thank you to the mayor of Brentwood who teamed up with me to host this party and this get together. Thank you to Amelia and everyone that helped decorate. We had a balloon drop and it was pretty cool. And recently, there's a nonprofit called Carecen, which is the center for, what is it? The Central American Resource Center for Immigrants and Refugees. They do a lot of work. They've been doing this since the 80s, 90s, in helping immigrants get legal help in regards to immigration. They are also one of the people that helped start Casa de Maryland. They've also helped start La Clínica del Pueblo. These are well-known organizations that support the community. Thank you to Jackie, who is a town resident, and to Allison, who came with me to the opening of their new office in Bladensburg, which is right down the street next to the Little Caesars. There's a door to the left of Little Caesars. You go up the stairs. Oh, Papa John's, sorry. Papa John's. And you go up the stairs and they have an office there. You can visit them, but it's by appointment only. Thank you to Allison. Allison hounded them to have a Know Your Rights immigration training, which we hosted yesterday on Teams. And we had, I think, about 28 people for the Spanish session. I didn't attend the English session. The Bladensburg Library found out that we were hosting this event, and they had contacted Greg maybe like a week or so before, as soon as we started announcing it, and they made their own flyer and started marketing this event to everyone at the library. This isn't going to be the last one that we do. We'll continue having these Know Your Rights trainings, and it won't just be about citizenship. I'm looking to have trainings in regards to know your right as a renter. I think those are really, really important topics. So back to the issue that Council Member Roque actually brought up. So I received a call about cars blocking Lawrence Street towards the basketball court. I took photos. As soon as I got the call, I got in my car, I went out, and I took photos. And I request that when you see something like this happen, take your camera and take a photo so that we log it and we can present it to the church and say, hey, this is what was happening on this day. I was shocked at how many cars there were, how many illegally parked cars there were. Their parking lot was full. Our streets were full. They started parking at the car wash lot as well. And so this is where I kind of bring up again, I want, and I know that Greg has been looking into it, and this all has to do with our parking ordinance. I want to start charging people on Lawrence at specific locations for parking. I don't think that they should be parking on our streets if they're not residents. And I think this again goes back to like the permit parking, but it's also about looking at ways to protect our streets, but then to also find a way to make some money for the town. So this is one location where I think we can put parking meters, but we'll have further discussions about this in the future. In the meantime, again, call the police, non-emergency line, take photos, log everything. These are some photos of the water main break. So on the left is the WSSC staff. On the right is the water main break. I want to show a quick little video. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Where'd it go? Stop share. Because I thought this was pretty cool. Oh no, don't tell me I didn't. I did. I might. Oop, I know where it is. Just give me 1 second. There we go. All right. That is what the water main looked like, the water main break. So it happened right underneath the pedestrian bridge. And it was like a river. It was just like this river. Yeah, it looked like Niagara Falls. I offered Greg $100 if he would jump in, and he said no. That's too bad. I also just want to just end my report by saying that there's a lot of things that are happening right now with the new administration, the new presidential administration. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of fear. I think and I hope that you all feel comfortable enough to come and talk to me or any of the council members or to anyone in the office. We will do our best to connect you to the people that you need to be connected to. But I think now is a time to connect with your neighbors, check in on them, and make sure that you're connected to us so that if you need help, that you get connected to the help that you need. I've heard some stories about kids being very afraid, kids not wanting to go to school. And so I want to be very, very transparent and real with people. There is fear right now in our communities. It's not just the Latino community, it's the African community, it's anyone that's an immigrant right now, there's fear. Not just with that community, but it's also with the LGBTQ plus community. There's fear in that community too. There are some things that have been said that for me personally are very triggering and very disappointing, but we as a community need to come together and just help each other. So that's what I want to say in regards to that. I'll work on coordinating more workshops to prepare residents for things that may happen. But don't be afraid to reach out to me or to anyone that you feel comfortable talking to with any questions that you have. So I'll go ahead and turn it over now over to council reports. So Ward 1.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say good evening to everyone. Council Member Ward 1, Melinda Mendoza. My report is not as robust as Mayor Casanas, but I applaud her for everything that she has said on there, especially for our public works who they did for the past couple of snow days. They worked very hard in the conditions that were given to them. I found out from Colmar Manor Bible Church that's located on Newton and 42nd that they were very appreciative of the help that the town did with plowing the snow. On that note, so all I have for my report is that I just wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. I'm grateful for all the contributions that everyone here at the town hall has made. Super excited to see all that we will achieve together in the new year.
Thank you, Councilmember Ward 2.
Allison Pages, Ward 2. My spotlight this month again will be on the Public Works Department. I'd just like to acknowledge the great job that they've done during our storms. They were out shoveling at 2 a.m. The town does not have enough salt, and the hydraulics were broken on our trucks. So most of the salted streets you saw had to be done by hand. So kudos to Aiden, Al, and Eduardo. And then I attended a ribbon cutting ceremony on January 8th at the opening of a new office of Caresen. Is that how you pronounce it? Caresen? Caresen, Central American Resource Center, which is dedicated to improving the quality of life for an empowered Latino community. They hosted the event last night called Free Immigration Workshop, Know Your Rights. 7 to 8 p.m. was in Spanish and 8 to 9 p.m. was in English. I'd like to thank the residents who attended. There were about 35 residents with the Spanish-speaking session and about 15 residents with the English-speaking 8 to 9 p.m. So thank you, Genevieve, Julia, and your team. Their new office is located just up the street at 4930A Annapolis Road in Bladensburg, next to Papa John's Pizza. I'd like to just remind everyone it's very important to stay in touch, so please make sure you have the free app called WhatsApp, WHATSAPP, to follow the Town of Colmar Manor updates. That is what you need to follow, Town of Colmar Manor updates. The Town of Colmar Manor mainly uses this app to post updates, events, etc. It's easy and convenient and free, so please make sure you have that app. Earlier, Mayor Casanas was referring to the non-emergency number. If you have a copy, or if you go to the agenda for tonight, it's in the agenda. But if you don't have it, the number again for non-emergency number 301-352-1200. Again, that's 301-352-1200. Also, I appreciate all the questions you had for Mr. Carl Schutler for the PG CPS school bus. If you would like his email, please just contact me. I think everyone here should know my email and my phone number by now, but I will repeat it, 301-461-9122. And then lastly, I want to talk about the budget survey. The town will be putting out a budget survey. The most important thing we can do all year is the budget. So if you have any suggestions on how you would like to spend or not to spend the town's money, please let me know. And let anyone here know. But for Ward 2 residents, I think everyone knows where I live. You have my phone number again, 301-461-9122, and my email. So just reach out to me or come to the town hall or contact somebody, because we will be doing the budget in the next month, and it's very important to have your feedback. And I think that's about it. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Councilmember. Ward 3?
Good evening, everyone. This is Councilmember Fia Emirates from Ward 3. I have a very short report, and a lot of things have already been hit on by other members, but I just wanted to start by saying Happy New Year as well to everyone. It's the start of a new year. There's been a lot of things that have happened already. It's always an eventful time at the end of the calendar year, a lot of celebrations going on, and a lot of things that start to happen as the new year begins. Also, of course, some less positive things. As the mayor pointed out, there are a lot of changes coming with the new federal administration. With that, it is really critically important that we are maintaining strong bonds as a community and reaching out for the support that we need. We're here at the town hall. You can always contact us. We have phone, we have email, and as well making sure that you're connecting with your neighbors, that you're providing the support you need and asking for the support that you need is all important. It's a new year and there are a lot of challenges ahead of us, but there are also a lot of opportunities, and it's important to stay positive and to stay strong and to keep a forward outlook. Next, in terms of winter weather, there is a lot that's been going on. We've had a lot of snow, more than we've seen in some of our recent winters, and as well, we're seeing some very bitter cold temperatures. With that in mind, please make sure you're taking care of yourselves, you're taking care of neighbors, you're taking care of animals, critters, loved ones. All of that is important. You can reach out to the town for any support. You can reach out to your neighbors as well. I realized once again as the snow started to fall that I do not have a sufficient shovel for clearing the sidewalk. So I had my garden shovel and was doing my best to clear it. But fortunately, some neighborhood kids came around and offered to shovel the sidewalk and driveway. And so just, another great example of how the community sort of cares for each other. And as well, want to give a really strong shout out and gratitude to the Public Works Department for all of the efforts that they did. There's always ways for improvement and lessons learned, but it was a tremendous task that was put before them, and they really put a lot of diligence and effort into that to make sure that the community was safe, that the roadways were clear and accessible, and so I commend them greatly for that. And then the last thing is just around the budget. We're about halfway through our current fiscal year for fiscal year 2025. As we're looking at the remainder of the year, things are generally looking positive. We're looking like we're going to end up with a net gain for the town budget, which is always wonderful to see. We're finding smarter ways to spend our money. And when we say we, it's really a tremendous effort being put forth by the town administrator and the town staff to find ways to improve on that. Our treasurer making sure that all of the numbers line up at the end of the year. And so as we prepare and plan for the next fiscal year's budget, we really are looking for input from the town. We want to find ways that we can reinvest in our community. We obviously cannot make all financial strains go away, but we want to see any ways that we can support the community, whether that's additional events, whether that's additional equipment improvements at town hall and around the neighborhood, if that's ways that we can support our residents. So please, your input matters, and I just encourage you to make sure that you communicate. You can reach out to any of us on the council directly. You can reach out to town staff. As the mayor mentioned, we'll be holding some meetings and events as well to make sure that your voices are heard. And it's really important that you come out if you have strong feelings about what you want to see the town do. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Ward 4?
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I have few things to say. I'd like, as Allison was saying, please make sure to lock your cars and do not leave any valuable outside. We have to keep reminding the resident about this because, we see people from outside our area coming to our area, just like walking and looking all suspicious. But just a reminder, just keep your eye open, and if you see something, say something. Also, I have to bring this up every time because one of the residents keeps telling me about the light on Newton Street by the garden. It's still out. Not sure what we're gonna do with that, but I just want to bring it out. Okay. Also, that's another thing that I want to mention is I know I already say many times, but there's a car that is always parking by the hydrant. What's it called? The water for the fire hydrant. Yeah, the fire hydrant. Yes, it's still there. I know who that belongs to, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to start the argument with people. So I just okay, I'll leave it alone. But I just want to mention that it's something that we have to remind people. Please do not park your car near by the fire hydrant because if something happened, your car is going to be destroyed. So, and we don't want that. We don't want that. Buses. I hadn't paid any close attention about buses, but like I mentioned before, it looks like they don't stop. They don't see the stop sign, and they just turn right away without making full stop. I also see many aggressive bus driver. Sadly, they just jump in front of you. Yeah, and they don't care. It's just something that they should not be doing that. Free activity since our last meeting. We had the Christmas event here in the town hall, which was really, really nice. I had a great time. I was here with my sister and my little niece. They was helping with the toys and get the kids together in line and everything. I want to say thank you to Mayor and all the staff who create all the near event for the town. I want to say, please, when we do something like this, it's not just for us, it's for the whole town. And the mayor and all the staff put a lot of effort to create and do this for everyone, not just for us. This is for the whole entire town. We know that you guys deserve more, but we know they just want to do a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time for everyone. Well, the parking, as the mayor said earlier, we have to do something about the parking. I hope we can do something. We can talk about it and, create something to stop all this parking situation on 43rd and Newark because it's just getting bad. And, well, this is something that I want to say. That's my last thing. I walk around my neighborhood twice a day. Sometimes I do early in the morning, probably 7:30 a.m. And then I go around 1 o'clock. So just in case, sometime when I see resident outside, I start talking to them. So don't be afraid if you see me outside and I start talking to you. If I see you outside, I'm gonna start. If I see you outside, just wait for me because I'm gonna come towards you and I'm gonna start talking and introduce myself. Okay, I just want to leave that say, because I know I walk around, I see a lot of people, I talk to them and everything, but you probably don't know who I am, and you probably think that I'm just doing something suspicious, but it's me, okay? Thank you.
Just quick follow-up, in regards to the street light, I did check into that. It has been reported to Pepco. I don't know why it hasn't been fixed yet, but I'm gonna have to follow up with their liaison for the town to find out what's taking them so long. And then the parking in front of the fire hydrant, would that happen to be on the 4300 block of Newton? Do you know? Because we had someone, the reason I asked, we had someone report that this week. I just want to let you know that someone reported that as well. We were looking into that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, council member. And this is just again a reminder, if you see issues with the way people are parking, take a picture, send it to, or call it in. I do that frequently. People will, or I'll send chief photos and I'll say, hey, there's this car that's parked here. It's been parked here for a while, or this car is legally parked, or there's a food truck that shouldn't be here. So I take pictures and I send them to chief. So please do the same. I forgot to mention, here we go, to share these pictures. Baller Tykes is back. So this is a program for young kids. So between the ages of 2 and 5, and then 6 to 8. They come, you pay, but there's a code that you can use so that it only costs Colmar Manor residents $125, and I think it's for like 3 months, something like that. They get a uniform, they get snacks, and they come on Saturdays or Sundays for an hour, and they learn the basics of basketball, and they have a ton of fun. So it's the highlight for me, to see all these little kids playing basketball, and the parents really get into it too. So it's a lot of fun. And then just a quick picture of the animal welfare committee. I'm just super excited to have them here. Then you'll see there's a little puppy here. His name is Brexton or Brixton, something like that. But this is a Brixton. So this is the group, and they're very passionate about pets. We are all pet owners, and I'm just super excited to have like a bunch of puppies and animals here at the town hall. I didn't ask our town administrator, but I'm sure he'll have something to say about it. But keep an eye out for something that we're going to be doing. So yeah. So I'll go ahead and now open the floor up for resident comments and concerns. We don't have anyone here physically at the town hall. So if you are online and you want to make a comment, or you have a question or anything, just raise your hand. We'll call on you, ask you to unmute. Just give your name and the street that you live on. So there's a comment in the chat. Es Mirna que dice, yo tengo una opinión con respecto a los parques, que los dueños de las casas tienen su parque en el patio de su casa y no los usan y pelean los parqueos de la calle y la calle es libre. So in English, she's saying, I have an opinion in regards to parking and homeowners, and how they have a driveway at their house, but they don't use it, and then they fight for on street parking, and the street is free. So that's her comment. I don't know if anyone else online has another comment in regards to parking, but as our town administrator mentioned, this is something that we're gonna be discussing more of in the months to come. Well, in February specifically. I've received calls from people that again want me to call the police. And my issue is that no one owns on-street parking. No homeowner owns the parking spot right in front of their house. You cannot put a cone and save the spot. That is not your spot. There is a code that the town has. You can't park for longer than 48 hours, I think it is. If you see someone that is parked for longer than 48 hours, call the town to report it, call the non-emergency line. Maybe they'll do something that I hope they do, but I think you'll get a quicker response if you call the town hall and say, hey, there's this car, it's been parked there for 40 hours, I don't know who it belongs to. But yeah, just this is a reminder that street parking belongs to the town, really. So no homeowner owns the parking spot in front of their house. Whether a homeowner wants to use their driveway or not, that's on them. We ask that homeowners, if you have a driveway, just to alleviate the parking situation that we all experience in town, park in your driveway. We also don't know the specifics of what's going on in a particular house. We don't know if someone is the homeowner and maybe they're renting and they've been told that they can't park in the driveway. This is just, an assumption that I'm making. I don't know. I, as a homeowner, have a driveway and I feel very guilty when I park on the street. It's had to happen a couple of times because of issues that I have with home improvement. Or I have a couple visitors and I'll park on the street. But for the most part, I park in my driveway. But again, just let's be respectful and kind to each other. I don't think anyone's trying to be malicious. We're all kind of vying for the same parking spot. If you ever come across this issue with a neighbor, I have offered people some conflict resolution or a discussion with staff here at the town hall. And if we need to elevate that, we can, and we can get like a conflict resolution person here. But I don't think it's worth it to argue over parking spots. I think sometimes it just takes a discussion with your neighbor. But again, you don't own that parking spot. Technically, the town owns it. So just FYI. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, so seeing that there are no other concerns or resident comments, we'll go back to number 10 on the agenda, which is unfinished business, the approval of the FY 2024 audit. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to our town administrator.
So if you recall, last month we had the presentation of the audit. We need to go ahead and accept the audit for the record. So we just need a motion to accept the FY24 audit.
Councilmember Thea Emirates, I'll make the motion to accept the FY 2024 budget audit.
Allison Pages, Ward 2, I'll second the motion.
We'll open it up for discussion. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, if there's no discussion, I'll go ahead and request a vote. Are there any abstentions, any nays? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that it has been approved. Thank you very much. Under 10B for new business, there are two items. First one is appointing Councilmember Melinda Mendoza to the Audit Committee. So do we need a motion for that? Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and request a motion to appoint Councilmember Melinda Mendoza to the Audit Committee.
Councilmember Thea Emirates, I'll make that motion as stated.
Allison Pages, Ward 2, I'll second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions, nays? Okay. Congratulations, Melinda. Now I'm officially off the audit committee. Yes, thank you. All right. The next item under new business is the resolution for the budget transfer. I'll turn that over to our town administrator.
If you recall in the work session, I discussed with the update, I discussed some budget modifications that we needed to make based on some new revenue, on decreased revenues that we had been, that has come in since some projections, and then some increases in expenses. And so if you look in the middle, we put it into a resolution. We're going to do this from now on so that it's easier for you all to kind of see. And then also you can make a motion simply to approve resolution R-05-2005 or 2025. Yeah.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I will make that motion stated.
Councilmember Fia Emirates, I'll second that motion.
I'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. Is this where I could request for money for the dinner with a duck? So I'd like to request a motion to amend the resolution. And I'm not necessarily sure what line item it would be allocated to, but I would like to request $100. Yeah. I'd like to request 1,500. Yeah, I'd like to request 1,500 to the special events line.
I don't think, yeah, so council needs to make the motion to amend the first motion.
Yeah.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I will make that motion stated.
What was the motion?
It's to amend.
To allocate money for an event for the dinner with the doctor thing.
Yeah, how much?
1,500.
So the motion is to,
1,500.
it's to amend the resolution to include $1,500 in the special events line item for the dinner with the doctor.
I'd like to request a second to that amendment.
Fanny, you okay? Second.
I'd like to open it up. Actually, do I need to open it up for discussion? Yeah, I'd like to open it up for discussion again.
Yeah, Councilmember Emirates. I guess just want to understand, I guess, is there a specific reason to include this now rather than having any like additional discussion and information about the event at like a subsequent meeting?
Yeah, so the Eritrean church, someone that attends the church and I think is on their board, met, her name is Yvette, and she is with the, the Emerson Foundation. And Emerson Foundation has received funds to work in under-resourced communities, particularly Black and Brown communities in regards to diabetes. And so this person, his name is Petros from the Eritrean church, reached out to me in December and said, hey, I really want to work with them. I want to include you so that we can try to get the most out of this relationship because they're moving very quickly and they have to reach like a certain amount of tests. So basically what they do is they take a phone and they attach a camera that then they shine into your eye. And they can tell whether you have diabetes and then eye damage from the diabetes. So when I heard this, I was like, oh, if it's free and we can do it here in our town, sign me up. But for a while now, I've been wanting to do this dinner with a doctor. And so we reached out to MedStar and we had a phone call with MedStar and with the Emerson Foundation. And they all agreed to kind of work in the town to do this. So they're gonna provide the doctors, but none of the two would provide funding for like this dinner that I want to have. So I'm thinking of spending maybe $100 a month if we do this. So that comes out to about $1,200. I'm gonna ask for $1,500. I'm not sure if I'll use all of it. For me, it's a pilot for now, but I don't want to miss the opportunity to move forward with this because they're doing this. The Emerson Foundation is doing this regardless. And I don't know how long they'll be doing it for. They have to reach, like, I forget how many tests they have to do, but while they're doing it, I thought, okay, I don't want to snooze on this opportunity. And if MedStar is in it too, I don't want to snooze with them either because sometimes it takes a long time to get them like on board with whatever project we have. So that's why I'm doing it now. I'm hoping to have it once a month.
For how long?
A year. Depends on how if people want to see this happen or not.
That makes sense.
Is there any other discussion or question on this? Okay, so if there's no other question or comments, I'll request a vote. Any abstentions or nays?
Yes. First.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Right.
So just so you know that this motion is to approve the amendment only, not the full resolution yet.
Okay.
Then we'll vote on the full.
Full, yes. So this is just for the amendment of the 1,500.
Okay,
Just to double check that everyone's voting.
okay, so the amendment passed, so now we need to vote on the,
Five, okay.
okay, so now I'd like to request a motion to approve Resolution R05 2025.
Councilmember Fia Emirates, I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 05-2025 with the amendment to add a $1,500 line item to 5370 special events expenses.
Is there a second?
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I second that.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. So Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4.
Hi.
Okay, so the ayes have it. Oh, I vote yes. Yeah, I vote yes, sorry. All right. Okay, great. So that's it. There is nothing else on the agenda. Thank you very much for your work. And I'll go ahead and I don't need to request to adjourn. We're adjourning, right? Oh, I'd like to request a motion to adjourn.
Councilmember Emirates, I'll make that motion as stated.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
Yay.
What time is it?
It is
Whoa!
8:53.
I have a little bit of a request here.